Hello guys, welcome back to another video tonight. First, before we get started, please don't forget to like and subscribe and also share this video with your friends if it gets any value to you. We really appreciate it. The topic we're going to talk about tonight, it's not about stimulus, so we come back to the stimulus maybe tomorrow or another day. So this topic tonight is going to be about something special. But it's not, I know it's not everybody going to like the video because it's the truth. The thing with human being, they don't really like to hear the truth. So the topic tonight is going to be about money. I have a question for you. You can always put the answer in the comment down below. Are you really want to save your relationship with your family? When I mean family, like your extended family, like your brother, your sister, your cousin, your aunt, your mom, your dad, whoever is really close to you. Well, I have good news for you. If you really want to save your relationship with any of those family members, there's one thing you need to do. Stop loaning them money. That's the topic tonight. Stop loan your family money. In another word, stop borrow money from your family if you do that. Because the thing is, in the long run, it's gonna break the relationship apart. Very important. Because what happens is when somebody asks you to borrow money, you have only one chance. And that chance, it's not to get the money back. Or the relationship is gonna mess up. Because what happened when someone come to you and asks you to, let me see, for example, if somebody come to you and say, can I borrow $1,000 from you? First of all, they know you have the $1,000, and second, they might want to take advantage of you because there's a lot of different category people out there when it comes to borrowing money. There's a reason why the bank wants so much information. They want to make sure the asset is secure. They want to make sure they know you really well before they can borrow you money. But we as human beings, we don't do that, right? If your sister come to you and say she needs $500, you just give it to her. But if instead of giving you back that $500, she's trying to be your enemy instead. So that's something you might need to put a stop sign on because you want to keep your relationship between you and your sister, between you and your mom and your dad and your son or your daughter. So that's important to do. Because when someone asking you to borrow money, it's because they don't have it. In another word, that person always short. They always behind in something. Either they don't make enough money at work or they have more bills than what they can afford. So that means that person don't live below the means. And a lot of people in this country don't understand what does that mean to live below your means. What does that really mean to some of you that watching this video now? I really want to know in the comment down below. What does that really mean to you to live below your means? That means you can afford everything you have. Every single bill that you have to pay every month, you're not going to do this to pay for it. You can pay for your rent or your mortgage, your car payment, your car insurance, electricity, water, telephone, internet, insurance, food, etc. So when you come to a point you're going to be short in one of those things, that means you live above your mean, not below your mean. Because the amount of money you bring in is not enough to cover your expenses monthly. That's when you might need to go and say to somebody, you know what? I really need to borrow $2,000 from you so you can cover those bills. So if you really think smart, if somebody making $2,000, for example, a month, and they come to you and ask you to loan them, let's say $1,000 at least. Someone come to you and say, you know, because the thing is, when someone come to you to ask you to borrow money, they need to tell you what they need the money for. So that means they convince you to give them the money. That's exactly what the banks do. Before the bank loan you money, what they do, they question you. They want to know where you work. They want to know how much bills you have. They call that debt to income ratio. They want to make sure you can afford that debt you're going to take on. So before you go and buy a house, they do what they call pre-approval or pre-qualification. So when the bank do a pre-approval, they take all your information and they put it in a database. They make sure that you can take on that debt before they give it to you. That's why they do that pre-qual, to make sure you meet all the criteria before they just go ahead and sign on a debt, if it's a house, if it's a car, whatever the case might be. Well, we as human beings, we don't do that. We just trust our friend, our family, our kids. We're just loaning them money. Okay, you can give it to me at the end of the month. It's okay. If somebody make $2,000 and they come to you and say, you know what, I have something very important to do. Is it okay to borrow $1,000 from you? I'm going to give it to you at the end of the month. That's a lie. 99.9% of the time, you will not get that $1,000 at the end of the month, because think about it. The reason why this person come to you to ask you for that $1,000 is because he or she short for that month. Because if you only make $2,000, so your bill is $3,000, let's say, for example, you always gonna be short $1,000. So what's in the wall make you think if you give that person that $1,000, you're gonna get it back at the end of the month? Of course not. You will not get it, because the $2,000 that they make, it's enough, not even enough to cover the bills. They always gonna have to go some other way to get that other $1,000 to cover for the month. So now, you think when that person come to you, take that $1,000 from you, they're gonna leave the car payment, they're not gonna pay for the car or pay for the electricity, can leave the necessities disconnected just because they have to fulfill your need? Not to fulfill your need, I mean, to be honest and be truthful. So if you borrow money from me, I expect you to give me back the money in a timely manner when you say you was gonna give it to me. But that's not always the case, because something has always come up. Either it can be a shortage of hours, or it can be something has come up like unexpected. So you, to be smart with your money and to save that relationship, don't borrow money from them or don't loan them money. That's a simple thing. Reason why you want to save this relationship. Right now, let's say, for example, I have my little sister. She come to me and say, you know what, bro, I'm kind of behind in some stuff. Is it possible to get $1,000 from you? To be honest, I don't think I'm just going to take $1,000 and loan it to my sister, because if she's short a whole $1,000, something need to change. Well, in another word, if she needs $100 because they're gonna cut off her light or they're gonna cut off her water, I know that's a necessity. If she needs $200, I will give her $100. I will not loan her $100, but I will give it to her. just to keep that brother and sis relationship. But don't loan someone money that you know that's always struggling, because you will end up losing that money. That's a simple thing. So people that live above the mean, those people, they're living for the other people. So they're living for the neighbors next door, they're living for the friends at work, they're living for, I can say for the Joneses on another word. So just to keep up with the Joneses, they always behind in some stuff. It can be they buy a Mercedes Benz that they have to pay $900 a month for it. And they have that two-story house that's another $2,800 a month, but they don't realize they're only making $4,000 a month. If you're making $4,000 a month, what makes you think you can afford a $2,800 house and a $900 Mercedes Benz? That's completely wrong and foolish. Because $4,000, you cannot even afford a $2,000 house. Because there's a lot more that come with the house. All the other expenses, and on top of that, who tell you you're not gonna get sick next week? Who tell you you might not get laid off next week? Who tell you maybe one of the kids might get sick, you have to go out of the country? Who tell you your wife might not get sick, you have to do something, you have to take a couple days at work? And that's something to consider. So a lot of time people looking at nice things that they can have, nice things that they can buy, but they don't think about the cost. They don't think about how much it's going to cost them to own that house, how much it's going to cost them to own that car, how much it's going to cost them to have that stuff that they really want to have, just to showing to other people that they're living a very nice life. That's why sometimes I like to watch Dave Ramsey. If you don't know who's Dave Ramsey, this guy is a very intelligent guy. He doing finances kind of thing. He talks about a lot of things, and I know there's something he like to talk about. It's like I know it's a 7 baby step or something like that. So Dave Ramsey tells you that your neighbor next door, you see that have that nice house, that big car, that whatever, that you can never see home, they all broke because they have to work to pay for that. But this neighbor that have that hoopty in front of his garage, always fixing something, always see a neighbor under the car, maybe he have a couple $1,000 in the bank. And that makes some sense. A lot of people, they don't think about what can happen in the future. They're just acting like a kid. They don't pre-plan for tomorrow. Some people have a problem with money. Money, it's a good thing to have. At the same time, it destroys people, because some people, when they have money, they don't really know how to keep it. That's why they always go in debt. Whether it's credit card, whether it's a family member, whether it's a personal loan, it's still called a debt. Well, debt, you have to pay it back. Because some people, when they have an extra $1,000 and the bank, they think like, oh my God, they don't need more. As a fact, if I only have $1,000 in my bank, I don't think I will sleep that night, because I have to think what I have to do to get more thousand to put on top of that one that I have. So just in case something happened, that I save for the coming days. But some people, when they have $1,000, they think it's gonna grow millions. It's never gonna be finished. So that's a problem. You need to maximize your money and minimize your expenses. Because this study said you should have at least 6 months maximum, or 3 months, at least 3 months minimum savings in the bank as an emergency fund. I don't know how many people in America that even have 1 month expenses. If beside layoff, let's put the layoff and decide. Let's say you get sick for 2 3 weeks and you cannot go to work for some reason, and you don't have any more vacation at work, you don't have any sick leave, so you have to go on what they call family leave. So are you gonna be okay with the house payment or the car payment or every other bill that comes with it? If you off work for 1 or 2 months, are you gonna be okay to still taking care of those necessities if you off work for 2 months without getting money some other way? If you cannot answer that question, you need to work on yourself. Work on your expenses, work on your budget, work on everything. Call your wife. Let's make a budget. A budget, it's work. If you know you're going to Walmart to spend $500, don't go to 520. That doesn't call a budget anymore because you go over the limit. A budget, you stick to it. If you're going to go to Publix to spend $200, well, stuck to that $200. That's going to help you to save money. So if you don't ever have enough money and decide to cover at least 2 or 3 months of your expenses, you really need to ask yourself a question. Are you really living the life you're supposed to be living? Is that the way to live life? Because if something happened to you, are you okay? Fine. I mean, 90%, I can say 90% of middle class people are not okay financially because they live in paycheck to paycheck. What I'm talking about, just pay attention a little bit with me here. If you get sick for 2 months, you cannot go to work. If you cannot even do anything, you cannot get unemployment, you don't have another check coming from somewhere, are you going to be okay to have coverage for at least 2 months if you're home? If you can do that, well, that's a good thing. But if you can't do it, you have to go through debt. You have to go to your mom to help with the rent. You have to go to your dad to help with the rent. You have to call your sister or call your cousin or go to your friend to tell them, you know what, I was sick for 3 weeks. I don't work. I'm kind of short on rent. That's a bad thing for you and your whole family. Your whole family is in danger. They're in jeopardy. Because if you don't have enough savings to cover 2 months, at least 2 months of expenses, because if you lose your job, it takes you at least 3 to 6 months, even a year to find a job. Well, how are you going to survive? If you live in only the paycheck to paycheck, you never have anything in the side as a cushion to cover you if something happened. Well, very soon you might be homeless one day. Very soon they might pull off that car one day. So the thing is with that, if you have a spending habit, you need to find a way to cut that off. Stay away from the mall. Stay away from the bar every other weekend. Stay away from those ladies' night every other weekend. Stay away from hang out with your friends to spend a $50 you don't have. Because most of the time, people spend money that they don't even have. That called credit card. Because when you go to the bar with your friends, you have a couple drinks. If you go in a bar, I think a Heineken costs like $6 or $8, maybe $7 or $5. I don't know. I don't go to the bar. I don't do those nonsense. I buy my Heineken in the gas station and I stay home. As a fact, before I do this video, I drink 2. I believe it was 3 at home. So I don't go to the bar to spend that money because I know I don't have it. That's going to keep me away from asking a friend to borrow $500. That's going to keep me away from going to my credit card. That's going to keep me away from doing things that I really don't have to do, if it makes sense to you. But some people don't live life like that. They only live for today. They don't care about tomorrow. Well, you need to live for and even next year. Think always about the year ahead. Because if you don't think like that, you're always going to fall behind in some stuff. There's a lot of things that you just have. You just want to have them. It's just because it's a need for you. Like a lot of people, oh my God, I really want to have that Lexus. I really want to have that BM. If my dream to have a Beamer. Do you know how much a Beamer costs? Not even the Beamer itself. There's a maintenance that's come with the Beamer that's going to make a big hole in your pocket. Do you know how much it's an Audi cost? It's not the price of the Audi. It's how much is the maintenance, how much is the gas, how much is the tire. All that come with the Audi. So do things that you can do. Don't do things you can't do. That's going to keep you away from borrowing money from people, from friends, coworkers, and such and such. And you that watching this video right now, don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you agree with me. Don't loan people money because you will not get it back. Especially if you know that person always struggling. Especially if you know that person always behind. Especially if you know that person always quitting from job to job. Don't lend them your money. It's not going to come back to you. And as a fact, if you do that, now you're going to have an enemy. And also there's people that borrow money from you for some reason. They don't want to give you back the money like the way you give it to them. Most of the time when you have someone that borrow money from you, you go from your bank account to take that money. But guess what? When you have to get the money back, you get it a little by little. If you borrow 1,000, you give them 1,000. When you're going to get the money back, you get 200. Next thing you know, you get 120. You get 300, the max. You get 175 until you're going to get to your nerve and say, you know what? Just forget about the balance. But who's losing? You. So when someone asking you to borrow money, no matter it's your daughter, it's your son. If your son come to you, he's 20 or 21 years old, then he want to go and buy a car. He say he need $1,000 to borrow from him. Don't give it to him. At 20 years old, you cannot afford a brand new car yet. You need to start working to save up money. You need a hoopty in the meantime. If you have a job, I will not give you my $1,000 just because you want a new Toyota, you want a new Mustang or whatever it is, because you don't have what they call credibility yet. The bank don't even trust you yet. Why would I give you my money? Because the bank, before they loan you money, they want to know everything about you. They want to know how many jobs you have, how many debt you have, how much debt you have. That's they call debt to income ratio. They put you on a database that's going to tell them exactly how much debt you have. That's when they check your credit. They see you have a loan with X, Y, and Z. They see you have a loan in Lowe's. You have a loan in JCPenney. You have a credit card with them. You owe them $900. They put all that in consideration. The reason why they're gonna loan you $100,000 or $200,000 to buy that house, they want to make sure they can get that money back with no headache. That's why they put it on underwriting. Underwriting gonna do a final research. Make sure you don't have any loan outstanding. You don't have any credit card that's behind. You don't have any car payment, any repossession. All those things matter in credit. So now, when you come to me, you want to get my $1,000. I don't even know your credit. That means I don't know if you're a credible person. I don't know if I can trust to give you that $1,000. That means, in another word, I don't know if you're going to give it back to me. That's what the bank do. They want to make sure you can pay back that money. Because if you can't pay it back, that means the loss. And the bank really don't lose because they have extra insurance. But when you lend someone $500, do you have insurance for that? I don't believe you have anything. That means it's a money loss. So have a control over when you borrow money or lending money to people. It's a very important thing. If you really want to save your friendship with that friend you've been friends for more than 30 years, you have a friend in Haiti. Okay, now let's be honest. If you have a best friend in Haiti they're working, right? Let's say you have a friend in Haiti that's working in, let's say in the finance department in Haiti. And that guy tell you, you know what? I have something to do. Is there's a way you can send me $1,500? I'm gonna give it to you in 3 months. And you think that's true? You go and take $1,500 US and send it to him? Of course not. You're not gonna get that money back. Do you know how much money they make in finance in Haiti? Maybe you don't have an idea. Why would you do that? You know what? Man, if you call me yesterday and tell me about that, maybe I can help because I had some money. Maybe I was not going to be able to give you at least 1,500, but I could have found at least 500. But I already do so much things. I don't think I can help. But that's fine. I can send you $100, man. At least I help somehow. Send $100 to your friend. That's not going to make you poor. That's not going to break your bank. But at least you're showing him you have that sense of humor to help, so you don't leave him behind in the situation, but you still save that relationship. You don't loan him any money. You have your friend, they call you, you know what? I find that piece of land or I find that house I'm going to buy. I really need $2,000 from you. Well, if you're ready to buy a house, you should have more than $2,000 extra to put on that house. I will not do it. That's not a good idea. If you know you're going to buy a car, you're going to buy a house, you're going to buy a piece of land, that tells me you have enough money saved up already. Now, if you're missing $2,000, that tells me that house you're going to buy, you cannot afford it. Then you need to get something smaller or something you can afford. If it makes sense in another way. When you're loaning someone money, you don't have any kind of security you're going to get this money back. And I learned it in the hard way. I will not do it again. Don't do it if you used to. Friendship, it's a good thing. Money, it's another good thing. For you to keep that friendship, keep your money in your pocket. Always be friendly with your friends. Always be friendly with your family. Do not loan them money. If you can give them, do it. They will appreciate if you do. But you don't have enough to loan people money, because think about you. How much money you really make to have enough saved up to lend someone else? Right now, if someone tell me they need $1,000 to loan, I can't do that. I have $1,000 in the bank, but I will not take it and loan it to someone. That's all I have. I can't do that. I'm sorry. Maybe I can give you $50. It's all right. I know $50 is not even a 0.5% of what you need from me, but at least I'm showing you I'm willing to help. But maybe it's not everybody that comes to you that wants to borrow money from you. You can give them money for free, because people will take advantage. Oh, I know if I ask Stanley for $1,000, he will give me $100 for free. Don't do that. Some people come to you, they come tricky. They want to trick you. They want to play in your mind. And at the same time, if you just fall on that track, you're going to get screwed. If you mix money and family together, there's something's not going to work. Don't mix money with family, money with friends, money with whoever. Money, it's something else. Family, friends, it's another. Don't deal with them with money. If you need money to borrow, go to the bank. And the good thing I like with the USA, they don't need to know where you are. They don't need to see you face to face. As long as they have your social security number, they check your credit, make sure you have a job. Hey, you can get money. And then they charge you interest, you end up paying more than what you borrow. Always happen. You borrow $1,000 from the bank, they charge you 29% on a credit card. That means you pay $29 every month on that $1,000. If you pay it back. If you don't pay it back, it's more. But when someone borrows $1,000 from you, how much money do you really charge them as interest? Zero. And on top of that, you have chance to lose it. Save your friendship and your relationship with your friends, with your family, with your kids, whoever they are. A lot of people is going to watch this video and say, why this guy say he's not going to loan his kids money? Of course not. I will not loan any of my kids money. If you have the ability to work, well, you're going to work and make your money. My money is for me right now. I work so hard, raise you from 0 to 21 or 22. At 22, you still want me to borrow. You need to borrow $1,000 from me to go in and do your nonsense. I'm not doing that. You need to work, save up $1,000. If you need $1,000 for college, I'll give it to you. If you need $1,000 to come in from point A to point Z for your school, for your degree, whatever I know that's gonna benefit you, I will go ahead and do it. I'm not gonna loan it to you, but I'm gonna give it to you as my part of participation as your father. But I'm not gonna give you money just to go and do nonsense. You're showing your kids sense of unresponsible. They are not responsible with money, especially at a young age. Let them learn, and they need to learn it themselves. Don't loan your kids money. If you have, give it to them. Do not loan them, because you will not get it back. Don't loan your mom and your father money too. Give them money. If you have your mom, you have your dad, they need $1,000 from you. You only have the $1,000. Don't loan them money. You know what, mom? I can give you $200. That's all I can chip in right now, but I don't have the amount you need. But I'll give you $200. Do what you have to do. Because whatever you do, it's going to come back and bite you at the end. So save that relationship. I thought it was important to share that idea with you guys, sharing that knowledge. If you really get value to this video, just give it a thumbs up and share it with your other friends. So we always upload good content, so you can always get a lesson from all what we saying in the channel. So thank you very much for watching. We really appreciate you, all your help and support. Thank you, and have a wonderful night. I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you.